Hey guys, today I want to talk about the Revelation 21 cube. We're going to look at the dimensions of the cube from Revelation 21:16, and we're going to look at it in relation to the sun, the moon, and the earth. So we're going to be looking at the diameter of each of these celestial objects, and I guess no matter what cosmology you subscribe to, the numbers here that we're going to use are the numbers that they have given us to look at here. And as I've shown before, a lot of these numbers are could be considered a construct for ritual purposes, but we're just going to be looking at the numbers that were given here with these celestial objects and how they relate to the Revelation 21 New Jerusalem cube that descends. And if we take a look here at the first couple chapters of Revelation 21, and I saw a new heaven and a new earth, for the first heaven and first earth were passed away, and there was no more sea. And I, John, saw the holy city, New Jerusalem, coming down from God out of heaven, prepared as a bride adorned for her husband. And we'll take a further look here at the dimensions here in just a bit of that cube that's going to descend from heaven. First, I want to go back and talk about the 6 and 5 pointed stars, because it's going to be related to the cube here when we take a look at it here. But if we look at the minutes in a day, we have 1440 minutes in a day. And if we divide 1440 by 6 for our 6-pointed star here, it's 6 240-minute parts. And remember, the 6-pointed star represents Saturn. And if we take 1440 minutes divided by 5, we get 5 288-minute parts. And the pentagram, or 5-pointed star, represents Venus. And when we combine the two parts here, the 240 minutes from the 6-pointed star and the 288 minutes from the 5-pointed star, it sums to 528. And we're going to look at that in relation to the Revelation 21 cube. If you remember here, the 6 and 5-pointed star are encoded into Revelation 6:12, 8:11, and 9:11 through the mathematics and geometry here encoded in those verses. But what we're concentrating on here right now is this 528, the 528 minutes, when we take each part from the 5 and 6-pointed star in relation to time. So the number 528 is the 32nd triangular number. You see here, it's the 32nd triangular number. And as I've shown before, we have been counting. I showed you the count of the Venus pentagrams from the Revelation 12 sign that was on June 3rd, 1769. And we began the 32nd Venus pentagram on March 25th, 2017. And that March 25th, 2017 date where the 32nd Venus pentagram started. That also fell within the 811th week after 9/11/2001. So this was the start of the 32nd Venus pentagram. You can see here that that day fell in the middle of the 811th week after 9/11. And of course, Revelation 8:11 is the focus of my channel. We'll be taking a little bit closer look at this too as well. The Wormwood Star. So if we take a look at this 528 number, it's the 32nd triangular number. 3/25/2017 was the beginning of the 32nd Venus pentagram since the Revelation 12 sign. And that Revelation 12 sign was a Venus transit. A Venus transit followed immediately by a total solar eclipse. And that's from Revelation 12:1. There appeared a great wonder in heaven, a woman clothed with the sun. That's the Venus transit, with the moon under her feet. And Venus wears a crown of 12 stars, and the woman is the one that wears the crown of 12 stars in Revelation 12:1. But this alignment was the Revelation 12 alignment. So we started our 32nd full pentagram on March 25th, 2017. If we take this 325 date and add the mirror or reflection, it is 523, and 325 plus 523 is 848. The time of 848 is 528 minutes, and 528 minutes is 8.8 hours. And as I shown before, the Seattle Space Needle, there's 848 steps in the Space Needle. But this 528 is very important. One more thing here with the 32 I want to show you. I want to show you a ritual to the number 32 here with the 2017 Las Vegas shooting. And we're talking about Revelation 21 here as well. But on October 1st, 2017, we had the Route 91 Harvest Festival shooting, and the shooter was on the 32nd floor of the Mandalay Bay Hotel. I'll show you something with that. If we look at the day Donald Trump was inaugurated to the day of this Las Vegas shooting, it was 8 months and 11 days after Donald Trump was inaugurated. And if we look at Stephen Paddock was the shooter on the 32nd floor. Stephen Paddock in ordinal gematria sums to 141, and the 141st prime is 811. So the shooter on the 32nd floor was a wormwood ritual, a ritual to Revelation 8:11, the Wormwood Star. And there's also a 21 involved in this. The shooting at the Route 91 Harvest Music Festival happened during a Jason Aldean concert. And Jason Aldean, of course, has this tattoo of a blackjack or a 21 on his arm. This was all a ritual to Revelation. And if we look at the shooter here, Stephen Paddock, you can see he has a 13 tattooed on his neck. And the events of Revelation will culminate into World War III, which will be the 13th official war that the United States participates in. So that's why we have the 13 on his neck here. And he's shooting from the 32nd floor in the 32nd triangular number is 528, which connects Venus and Saturn through time. So we're going to take a look here now at the Revelation 21:16 here, the dimensions of the cube that descends from heaven. And the city lieth foursquare, and the length is as large as the breadth. And he measured the city with the reed, 12,000 furlongs. The length and the breadth and the height of it are equal. 12,000 furlongs is 1,500 miles. And if we convert the 1,500 miles, that's 7,920,000 feet. So if we take a look here at the Greek isopsophy, the Greek gematria of Lord Jesus Christ, it sums to 3168. And you can't just put this into a English to Greek calculator. There's a little bit of a discrepancy here if you use that. You have to use the Greek word Kyrios, which means Lord or Master. You have to use this spelling of Lord in the Greek to get the 3168 here. Because if you plug this into a English to Greek calculator, it won't quite match up. You need to use this spelling of Lord in the Greek isopsophy cipher here. But if you look at this Revelation 21 cube, each side is 1,500 miles, so the total perimeter would be 6,000 miles. And if we take that times 5,280, and that's the number of feet in a mile, let's see here we have our first 528 reference back to our 32nd triangular. But if we take the 6,000 mile perimeter of the cube times 5,280, we get 31,680,000 feet, our 3168, back to our gematria, or isopsophy value of 3168 for Lord Jesus Christ. He's being associated with the cube through the math and through the Greek isopsophy. If we take a look here at Lord Jesus Christ in the Jewish cipher, it sums to 1,429, and 1,429 is the 226th prime. I've covered this 226 before. The second, and sixth primes, if we look at it, if we break down the 226, it's the third, and 13th. Second prime is 3, second prime 3, and the sixth prime is 13. And that gets us to our 24th star number, 3313. Here's all the derivatives of the 3313, the 226, and the 3313. It's from Revelation 8:11, 6:12, and 9:11. Their positions in Revelation. Also, if you look here, when we split the 1,440 minutes in a day into 6 parts, we have 240-minute parts. Without the 0 here, we have a 24. And our star number takes the shape of the 6-pointed Star of David. So we have our 3313 reference. We have our 528 with the number of feet in a mile. And we have our 3168 for our gematria of Lord Jesus Christ in relation to the cube. So let's look at the cube. The ratio of the size of the cube compared to the sun, the earth, and the moon. And the reason I was looking at this 528 or what turned me on to measuring the ratio here. I was watching a video by Geocosmic Rex, and he had mentioned in his video that the ratio of the cube, the 1500 miles, with the given diameter of the Earth, which is 7,920 miles, that ratio was 5.28. The given diameter of the Earth is 7,920 miles divided by the 1500 mile cube. So that's where we're getting our 528. And when I saw that, it reminded me to take another look here at our time relationship with the 6 and 5-pointed stars. So if you look here at the Sun, the diameter of the Sun is given as 864,000 miles. We divide our diameter of our Sun divided by the diameter or the length of one side of our cube. That ratio is 576. And the Sun, of course, is the object that we use to keep our time, the solar day. So if we add this 864 plus our ratio, 576, we get 1440. And it just happens to be that there are 86,400 seconds in a day. So there's a little math riddle here with the Revelation 21 cube ratio with the size of the Sun. And time in Jewish gematria sums to 144. There are 1440 minutes in the day. So without the 0, we have the 144. So if we look at the cube in relation to the diameter of the Earth, I showed you that. It's 5.28. And if we look at the ratio with the diameter of the Moon and the Revelation 21 cube, the ratio is 1.44. Back to our time number. Just have to move the decimal place a few places to get the minutes in a day. But this Revelation cube is very important to the ratios that were given, or the diameters that were given for the Sun, the Moon, and the Earth. And this is very important here, this relationship right here, the Moon and the Earth. So I've been talking a lot about lately March 31st, 2020 as the beginning of World War III, or the events of Revelation. And there are 404 verses in the book of Revelation. And 2020 will be the only year in our lifetime that is divisible by 404. 404 times 5 is 2020. And we're talking about the Revelation 21 cube. The 21st prime number is 73. And if we take this 331 number, when we add 73, it's 404. And if we add 73 more, it's 477. And our 477 is our time reference to the 24th star number, 3313. 477 minutes is 33.13% of a day. So let's look at the ritual here to the Earth and the Moon with 3/31/2020. March 31st, 2020 is the 6,777th day after 9/11. So counting the end date, 3/31 is the 6,777th day after 9/11. And 6,777 has a sum of divisors of 10,080. And when we sum the diameter of the Earth and the Moon, 7920 plus 2160, we get 10,080. And 10,080 minutes is 7 days. And if we look here at March 31st, 2020, and we add 7 days, or 10,080 minutes, we're just going to add 7 days. Seven days is April 7th, 2020. Our 10,080 minutes. 7 days is 1 week, 168 hours. And if we look at March 31st, we add 7 days. On March 31st, this would be the moon phase. As we go to March 7th is a full moon. So we're starting here at March 31st, and the phase of the moon is gradually increasing to full as we increase here down the minutes and the miles of the diameter of the Earth and the Moon. Kind of see how that works as the week goes along, as our 10,080 minutes progresses. We reach the full diameter of the Earth and the Moon together. And I've had this little moon on my calendar here for quite a while, but this is the full moon on April 7th, 2020. Kind of neat how that works there. And as I've showed you guys before, if we take a look at Venus on 3/31, it's slowly making its way. 3/31/2020, it's slowly making its way to enter the Pleiades on April 3rd, 2020. And if we look at Mars, which is associated with the god of war, you can see on 3/31 it is in conjunction with Saturn. The god of war and the god of time come together. At the same time, Venus is entering the Pleiades. So we're going to take a look at this magic square of Venus. The magic square of Venus sums to 1225. Of course, our Christmas on the Gregorian calendar is 1225. I want to take a look at some predictive programming rituals here. We're going to look at Independence Day. We're talking about the 73 as the 21st prime. The worldwide release of Independence Day was on July 3rd, 1996. And we're going to add 1,225 weeks to that for our magic square of Venus. And it gets us to December 25th, 2019, just a couple days ago. One more neat thing here to show you. If we look at the original date that the Independence Day Wikipedia page was created, it was May 19th, 2002. To 12/25/2019. That was 17 years, 7 months, and 6 days of 1776. And one of the origins of the 1776 is from Revelation 8:11. 8:11 is the 141st verse of Revelation. Take the 3 permutations of 8:11 plus the 3 permutations of 141. And they sum to 1776, which is the founding year. And that 5/19/02 date was also the end of the 9th season of the X-Files. So Christmas was 17 years, 7 months, and 6 days after the end of the 9th season. And of course 9, I've shown before, is the number of completion. X-Files, Xmas. One more ritual here with the Christmas 2019 with some UFO or alien stuff here is the Phoenix Lights. The Phoenix Lights were observed on March 13th, 1997. And March 13th, of course, can be written 313. And that's the 65th prime. And remember, we're looking at the 6th and the 5th, or the 6-pointed star and the 5-pointed star. And the date of 331 can also be written as 31-/3. But 313, 1997. To 12/25/2019, if we count the end date, it's a total span of 1,189 weeks. After the Phoenix Lights, and there are 1,189 chapters in the Bible. Now we're going to look at this in relation to March 31st, 2020. You can see here it's 23 years and 19 days. And this 2319 is all about the alien invasion code, and it's also related to presidential assassination. This preview of Revelation 19:19 is all about the 2319. I did that video in March of this year. This is all about the 2319, how important it is to the Revelation rituals that we're seeing here. One more thing I want to show you with the 477. I've been talking a lot about Canada and the arrival or something big happening at Hudson Bay. And if we look at the Canadian national anthem, O Canada, it was adopted on July 1st, 1980. And if we look at here, it's a total span of 477 months to March 31st, 2020, which goes back to our 24th star number, 3313. I showed you guys this before also, but if we look at the Roswell UFO crash, And then we look at the Trump Tower in Chicago. We draw a line from the crash to Trump Tower. That's 1,776 kilometers from Trump Tower to the UFO crash in Roswell. Remember, the Roswell UFO crash was in Lincoln County. We had the Great American Eclipse make landfall in Lincoln City, Oregon. We had the Flight 1549 land on the Hudson River right over the Lincoln Tunnel. Lots of Abraham Lincoln connections to all the UFO connections as well. And Abraham Lincoln was our first assassinated president. But just want to show you guys the math here with the cube in relation to the given numbers for the Earth, Sun, and Moon. Okay guys, I'm going to do my next video on just Saturn and Mars in relation to World War I and World War II. We're going to look and see if there's a correlation between the declarations of war and the Saturn and Mars conjunction. And then we'll take a look here at 325 as well, March 25th. I did a video here last year called Wormwood Emergency and Revelation Sun Rituals. And Ready.gov rolled out its Winging It is Not an Emergency Plan, which is a reference to the Wing solar disk. And that came out on August 28th, 2013. That's exactly 343 weeks to March 25th. We'll do a whole video on just March 25th in relation to the emergency alert system. But the Winging It is Not an Emergency Plan came out on 8/28/2013, 343 weeks before March 25th, 2020. And that's significant because we're talking about the 73, which is the 21st prime, but 7 cubed is 343. So we have our 343 weeks here to 325. A lot of stuff to cover here in the next couple weeks on my channel. But okay guys, thanks for watching.